And welcome to Facebook Live's Consular Conversations, as hosted at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica. As you may have noticed, I am not Camila. Camila has moved on to her next assignment, and I'm serving as the interim host of this month's episode of Consular Conversations. My name is Stephen Black, and I'm the Deputy Consul General. Next month, we hope to unveil the new host of Consular Conversations, but for the time being, the identity of that person shall remain a secret. Today, I will be interviewing myself as we discuss the operational status of the consular section before taking the many questions I'm sure all of you out there have. Just to give you a brief update on our operations in the section, however, I wanted to address several issues. As you know, the department has prioritized the processing of American citizen services and immigrant visa cases. And we at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica, have deployed our resources accordingly. American citizens who need to renew their passports or who are applying for passports for the first time will find plentiful availability of passport appointments on our site. For IV, for immigrant visa applicants, you may have noticed that we have now started to open up appointments for people seeking immigrant visas. As immigrant visa applicants know, for the longest time, due to the COVID situation, we were not able to provide any appointment availability. But that situation has started to change. In December, we opened up a small slate of immigrant visa appointments. And now that we've entered the new year, we are ramping up our operations on the immigrant visa side accordingly. In January, we processed over 1,000 immigrant visa appointments, and we're slated to do a similar number for the month of February. And in the month of March, we're planning to open up 1,800 immigrant visa appointments. So for that 3-month period from January through March, we are hoping to get through 3,800 immigrant visa cases. That's a lot of cases. And those cases span all of the various immigrant visa classes. So we're trying to finally end the long wait times that many of you have been enduring to get a visa appointment. Now, the truth of the matter is, even though we're talking about 3,800 appointments over a 3-month period, we have a very sizable backlog, and that will only begin to address the huge backlog that we have. But we are committed to maintaining that pace of operations on the immigrant visa side for the foreseeable future as the environment and circumstances permit. So for those of you who are unable to secure an appointment over the next few months, don't panic. Please remain patient and continue to wait for further news regarding more appointment availability in the upcoming months. Now, for NIV applicants, as we've noted, the priority is ACS and IV applicants. But we are prioritizing certain visa categories within the non-immigrant visa area. Principally, J1 summer work travel visa applicants. We have actually opened up a number of appointments this month as we begin J1 visa application season. As a matter of fact, this week, we've opened up approximately 400 appointment slots, and we're hoping to open up several hundred slots next week. These slots are all filling very quickly, so if you're unable to secure one of those appointments, please don't panic. We are routinely updating appointment availability, and we will be opening up more appointments over the upcoming months. But we're hoping by the end of the month of February to have offered between 700 and 1,000 appointments for that month. And the following month, we intend to open up more appointments as is possible. Last year, if you recall, we weren't able to begin opening up appointments until April the 1st due to a presidential proclamation that prevented us from opening up any appointments. So we are hoping to cover a lot more ground over these next 2 months than we did last year to accommodate the people, everybody that's looking for a J1 appointment. That said, we cannot guarantee that we will be able to meet all of the demand that is out there because there is so much demand out there, but we endeavor to process as much of it as we can. And last year we did a very sizable number. So again, if you don't see an appointment currently, please routinely check the online appointment site for appointment availability because we are routinely opening up appointments. Similarly, we are also processing H-2 temporary worker visa cases at this time, and there is availability for processing those cases. Those are desk adjudication cases that do not require interview. And let me take the time to note that for J-1 summer work travel, there is no interview waiver option. All individuals seeking a J-1 summer work travel visa must come in for an in-person interview. There is no interview waiver option. Outside of J-1 and H-2 temporary visas, we are not able to process a large number of tourist visa cases at this time simply because they are not the priority at this time. Nonetheless, we still are offering interview waiver processing for tourist visa applicants. In other words, anyone whose visa is expired within the past 4 years could potentially qualify for interview waiver processing, which means no in-person interview is required, and you can submit your passport for processing. In order to make that determination, when you go on to the appointment scheduling website, you'll be prompted to answer a variety of questions that will determine whether you qualify for that option. For those people who are under the age of 14 and those who are over the age of 79, i.e. 80 or over, you may possibly qualify for interview exempt visa processing, which again means no in-person interview is required. And that particular option covers first-time applicants as well as renewal applicants. Again, for those under the age of 14 or 80 and above. In the case of those under the age of 14, in addition to submitting your passport, you must also submit your birth certificate and a photocopy of the valid visa of one or both parents. So that in a nutshell is the operational status for the consular section at this time. And I wanted to open the floor up for the many questions that I'm sure that you have. Please bear with me as I access my system to see the questions that you have and respond to some of them. Questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Okay, some of you have submitted questions with respect to the immigrant visa priority date. And I would advise you to please check the visa bulletin on travel.state.gov for additional information on priority dates. H-2B visa interview status. Again, most of the H-2A and H-2B visa applications that we process are handled through the interview waiver process. We don't have a great deal of bandwidth for accommodating those H-2 cases that require an in-person interview. So if you fall into that category, I cannot guarantee that you'll be able to secure a timely interview. What we have found is that most of our H-2 visa applicants can be processed as interview waiver, and it's extremely convenient precisely because they do not have to appear in person or wait for an appointment date or time. Someone has asked a question regarding K-1 fiancé scheduling. I can confirm that we are scheduling appointments for K-1 visa applicants. So please check for appointment availability because I know that we have accommodated a number of K-1 visa applicants seeking visa appointments. So there is appointment availability. The only concern is, as you can imagine, we do have a large backlog. There are lots of people waiting. So when we open slots, the slots do fill relatively quickly. If you don't see an available appointment at this time, please remain patient and continue checking because slots are routinely being opened up. All right, those people who are currently, those immigrant visa applicants whose cases are currently with the National Visa Center, once the National Visa Center has determined that your case is documentarily qualified, i.e., all the documents that are required have been submitted, they will then proceed to schedule an appointment. Now, again, we have a sizable backlog. So I can tell you that there is not sufficient appointment availability for all the cases that are documentarily qualified that are out there. As we open up appointment slots, NVC will fill those slots with documentarily qualified applicants. Now, we are opening up a sizable number of slots, but it is going to take some time, i.e., several months, for us to be able to open up enough appointment slots to accommodate all the demand that is out there. We've already started to do that, but there are still a lot of people out there who are looking for appointments. So please be patient, but also please be vigilant and routinely check for appointment availability. All right, I've received a question inquiring as to whether interview waiver is an option for those people who have changed their names. For example, if someone is married and is now changed from their maiden name to their married name. Yes, interview waiver is an option for those people. You have to be able to document the name change, but it is an option. And for those people, if you've been married, and that's the reason for your name change, please, you'll also have to present us with evidence of your marriage through the marriage certificate. Also, for those people who do qualify for IWP, one of the requirements for interview waiver processing is that your last tourist visa application was approved. If you were previously refused, and now you're seeking to renew, you will be required to come in for an in-person interview. J1 summer work visa travel interviews have already started. As a matter of fact, we started processing J1 visa cases a few weeks ago. We opened up a small number of slots, and naturally they all filled. And now, as I noted before, we're opening up sizable numbers of slots on a regular basis. Any more questions out there? With regard to expediting immigrant visa applications, we do have a mechanism by which we review expedite requests for immigrant visa processing. It should be kept in mind, however, that expedited processing must meet certain stringent criteria that we have here at the embassy, precisely because everyone's visa application, immigrant visa application, is important and is urgent. And there has to be a way of filtering out those that meet truly emergent criteria. So there is a mechanism for requesting expedites. Relatively few cases actually meet the criteria to qualify. I received a question asking if there's interview waiver, if the interview waiver option applies for J1 visa renewal. Again, for summer work travel, interview waiver is not an option. All J1 summer work travel visa applicants must appear in person for an interview. And we're currently not offering interview waiver for J1 non-summer work travel applicants either. So for people applying for J-1 visas of any kind, interview waiver is not an option. One thing that I'd like to call to your attention, several months ago, to make things more convenient for our passport applicants, we offered an option of paying via pay.gov. That payment option is for passport applicants only. We've had several instances in which visa applicants have attempted to pay their visa fee through the pay.gov option. If you are applying for any type of visa, be it immigrant visa or non-immigrant visa, please do not submit your payment through pay.gov. If you submit a payment there, you will not be credited for having paid a visa fee, and you will be asked at some point during the process to pay the fee. So please, for visa applicants, do not pay your visa fee via pay.gov. You will be prompted to pay when you attempt to schedule your appointment online, because in order to schedule an appointment, you have to pay the visa fee first. And that payment takes place on the same system by which you schedule your appointment. The pay.gov website is only for US citizens paying for passport services only. We received a question from an H-2B visa applicant asking if they were required to come in for an interview, i.e. if case processing was placed on hold pending an in-person interview, what is the timeline? I can't give you an exact timeline for that. While we do try to accommodate people, the truth of the matter is that our focus is on processing H-2 cases that do not require interviews, and that is the lion's share of H-2B or H-2 visa cases. So if your case requires an interview for whatever reason, you may be waiting quite some time to actually be able to schedule an interview. Interview waiver, for the person inquiring as to whether interview waiver is an option for a tourist visa case for a child that's 11 years old, the answer is yes. That child also qualifies for interview exempt. Either way, the child is not required to come in for an interview. Any more questions out there? Again, we received several more questions regarding when appointments are available for documentarily qualified immigrant visa applicants. As I noted previously, appointments will be assigned as they become available. The National Visa Center is responsible for assigning documentarily qualified applicants specific visa appointments, and they are simply using the pool of appointments that we have opened up. We cannot accommodate all of the documentarily qualified applicants that are out there at this time because there are so many, but we have opened up and will continue to open up large numbers of appointments with an eye towards meeting all of that demand collectively over a multiple month period of time. So we are opening up appointments. If you can't secure one, or if you have not received one, please be patient. Please continue to wait. We apologize for the delay, but circumstances are what they are. But be patient, because things are starting to open up, and with any luck, you'll be able to secure an appointment in the upcoming months. The penalty for overstaying on an H-2 visa. For those people who are temporary workers, you're issued a visa that corresponds to the length of time you will be in the United States. That length of time is under a year, as mandated by U.S. law. And at the end of your employment, you are required to return to your home country, in this case, Jamaica. If you do not return in a timely manner, it is noted, and it will be a consideration the next time you apply for a visa of any kind. So we strongly encourage that you abide by the terms and conditions of your visa and you return to your home country in a timely manner. Otherwise, you risk the possibility of not being issued a visa in the future. Also, depending upon your length of stay beyond your time of employment, you might incur a visa ineligibility, which will result in a ban from visa consideration that can range anywhere from 3 years to 10 years. So the rule of thumb is to simply abide by the terms and conditions of the visa and return to your home country when you've completed your work assignment in the U.S. To the question about being fully vaccinated when you attend your immigrant visa interview, you are not required to be fully vaccinated at the time of your interview for an immigrant visa. However, we will not be able to issue an immigrant visa to you until such time as you are fully vaccinated. This is a visa requirement at this time. And in all honesty, if you're not fully vaccinated, your panel physician exam will not be completed. And we cannot continue to process your case without a completed panel physician exam. To the question as to whether there is an interview waiver option for family-based immigrant visas, the answer to that is no. All immigrant visa cases require an in-person interview. For the question about police record expiration, if you have a police certificate that expired on October of 2021, at this time, the expiration of police certificates has been extended for 2 years. So your police certificate is still valid. And one final point on police certificates. For all applicants over the age of 16, you will need a police certificate, a valid police certificate from every country in which you have resided. So if you've resided in other countries besides Jamaica, we will need a police certificate from those countries as well. Well, I thank you for all of the many questions that you have asked today. I hope that we were able to address some of your concerns. If you have further questions visa-related, please feel free to reach out to KingstonNIV@state.gov for non-immigrant visa-related questions and KingstonIV@state.gov for immigrant visa-related questions. And a member of our staff will get back to you. Again, those addresses are KingstonNIV@state.gov and KingstonIV@state.gov. We thank you for attending today's episode of Consular Conversations, and we thank you for all of your questions. We look forward to seeing you again next month when your new host should be in place. Thanks again and have a good day.